This is Afroeconomics with J.B. Bryan. Afroeconomics is a strategic financial management program designed for the advancement of Black wealth in America and abroad. Welcome to the jungle. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the fastest lion or it will be breakfast. Well, before I go any farther, let me bust a myth real quick. That is not an African proverb. Nope. It appears to have been from an article in The Economist magazine in 1985. Yep, that's how rumors get started. But let's get that straight. That's done. That is not an African proverb. But that being said, the concept is true. Just in case you don't remember how it goes, I'll let you know how it goes. Every morning, a lion wakes up. It knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. It doesn't matter whether you are a lion or a gazelle. When the sun comes up, you'd better be running, unquote. The idea, of course, is that if you want to succeed the lion, eat gazelle world of business, you have to be productive. You gotta get up running. Quick to spring into action and take advantage of opportunities. And in order to get an opportunity, you gotta be woke. I see another dynamic at play: discipline versus regret. Whether you're the predator or the prey in this story called life, you have a lot at stake every single morning. If you slack off today, you may not get another chance tomorrow. There is a real correlation with our lives as wealth builders, as professionals and entrepreneurs. Granted, we're not talking about physical danger here. We're not in the jungle. But every day you don't give your full effort, working hard, working smart, and working on the right things, where you're focusing, you're forfeiting progress you could have made, goals you could have accomplished, money you could have made, people you could have helped. Yes, that's a lot of pressure. Yeah, it is. Yes, that takes dedication and perseverance. Yes, it takes discipline. But I promise you, the pain of discipline is far better than the pain of regret. We're talking about living a life of no regret. In 2016, a survey by Allianz Life Insurance Company, they said 39% of those polled said they regret not following their dreams. 39%. 38% regretted not taking more risks with their career. And 36% regretted not taking risks with their lives in general. The problem is, at this point, there's nothing that can be done with those missed opportunities. I remember my last conversation with my father on his deathbed that ended up being his deathbed. He was telling me about things he still wanted to accomplish. Life is amazing. Go for it while you can. If you've experienced major regrets before, you know the pain that haunts you. It lingers. But on the other hand, discipline is painful in the beginning, but it gets easier over time. Me working all the time, doing my dream. To some people, they think I have the hardest life in the world. To me, it's like Disney World, seriously. And the earlier you start, the larger benefits you accrue through accumulation and compounding. And that's in life, not just in investments. But of course, we see it in investments, but just through life. I started my business over 20 years ago. Now it's just a part of me. If you care about your children and the generation coming up behind your children, your children's children, we really can't afford to forego discipline. I think it'll be hard for us to face our children and grandchildren knowing that we should have done something else, or we should have done something more, or we should have had a legacy, the first principle of Afroeconomics, to hand down to them. But you didn't have the discipline to put it together and create something so that you could pass it down. We don't want that. To inherit the perseverance, the work discipline, the work ethic. My father gave me more than just a financial inheritance, but he gave me a life of good habits, a life of generous giving and contribution, and a desire to be that way, and a desire to always gain more knowledge. And you want to have whatever you stand for to become a legacy to your children, and that legacy of the discipline that is required to create a life of excellence and an example that you gave your all to build a good life for your family. While we're on this subject, I want to talk about another survey. Credit Suisse did a survey, and they found that 7% of Black families benefit from inheritance. And I've seen that in many, many different studies. And that's opposed to 36% of those whites that were surveyed that benefited from an inheritance. So in addition, the inheritances of Black people leave their children about 1/10. So even the 7% that do get an inheritance, it's 1/10 of the size of those left by white families. That's a huge reason why our community does not have the financial wealth that they should, because we need the time for the inheritance to grow from generation to generation. And now can be the beginning of that. We can look at it historically, and we can explain away everything and why things didn't happen in our past. But I challenge you for us to take full advantage of what we can do today, because we cannot change the past, but we can take full advantage of Afroeconomics and create a better future for your children. That's Afroeconomics, and I'm J.B. Bryan. #Afroeconomics.
Today's podcast was powered by J.B. Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of Afroeconomics in Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and New York. Don't forget to subscribe to Afroeconomics with J.B. Bryan on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and any other podcast directory. If you like what you hear, leave me a 5-star review. I'm J.B. Bryan, and that's Afroeconomics at AURN.com.